Gunmen reportedly kidnapping at least 50 students from a Catholic school, adding to the urgency of President Trump's fight to end Christian persecution. This latest attack coming after the commander-in-chief designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. President Trump doing so in response to the more than 7,000 Christians killed in Nigeria since the year began.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities.
The Nigerian government is condemning the attacks and says their security forces are looking for the students.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Welcome to the live stream. I know I have been away for almost 2 weeks. Powerful stuff. I was not kidnapped. I was not among those. And I will never be among those. Nah, Jesus Christ. It's not like, it's an unfortunate situation. And I really feel... I empathize, and my heart, honestly, like every day for the past 2 weeks, most especially during this week, every day during this week, I take out time and I pray for Nigeria. I really pray for the insecurity that is happening, because it is not easy. I just want to give you guys some understanding of what is happening in the country right now. I have relatives of mine that wanted to travel by road to certain parts of the country, and they had to cancel trips. Like, they are no longer traveling. Moving during this festive period is now heavily restricted. People are careful of how they move and how they, like, even in your local area where you know it is relatively safe, you are not sure anymore. That is how it is. Like, there is fear of insecurity in the air. It doesn't matter where you live in this country right now. That is how it is. Like, it doesn't matter where you live right now in the country. You can feel it. Like, you can feel it. If you are here right now, you can feel it. You can feel the insecurity in the air. You can feel like the feeling of, I am not safe. We are not safe. You can feel it, and this evening, I was thinking to myself, and I realized that I've become the thing that people have been accusing me of. I find myself, I've become not just somebody who hates Islam, but somebody who somehow, like, deep down, I'm no longer, the hatred is no longer just for Islam. But, there's sometimes you check your heart and you realize the hatred is no longer for Islam. It is now for Muslims. I remember I was talking to somebody, and it just came out of my mouth, and I said, no Muslim in this country can be trusted. I just said, no Muslim in this country can be trusted. Because, you need to understand where I'm coming from. Like, you hear stories of people who had close friends that are Muslims, especially in the northern part of the country. They had close friends that were Muslims. I saw one testimony, or not testimony, kind of like a witness reporting like what they experienced. That when there was this crisis in the north, or when they had like this conflict in the north, that the person who killed her husband was somebody that they knew. They were close family friends. Someone also told a story of how during one of those conflicts, the person one of their vendors that come to their house to supply something to them, was the person that led people from the mosque straight to their house when it was time for killing. So when you hear these kind of stories, you start asking yourself, can you really trust any Muslim? And I when that thought crossed my mind, I said, am I sure I'm not becoming an Islamophobe for real? Are you sure I'm not becoming an Islamophobe for real? Like, I see people from a particular part of the country pass by me, and there's just this security alertness, like, I hope he's safe. I hope I'm safe, This is not it's not funny anymore. Like, it's really not. People have said in Nigeria that this increased, or it became heightened since Donald Trump made the statement that he made. Even some people have gone out to blame him, that because he said what he said, look at the terrorists are now brazen, more vicious, and are doing like the most at this point. Like that, they're just going all in. Like, the number of attacks we've seen in 1 week alone, 1 week in this country. In fact, the attacks are so many that there are some that are not officially reported. It happened, it is true, but if we Google it, you will not find it. Like, it happened, and it is known that it happened, but it's so many that the media could not keep up with it, so it was not reported. But it is known that it happened. How do I know that it is known that it happened? That I see even government officials in this country say, oh yes, and this one happened on Tuesday. But if you go and search for on any, like, go on Google and search for it, you will not see any report on it. And you're like, wait, no news house report. In fact, the recent one that happened was first reported by Fox News, not by local Nigerian news. Like, local Nigerian news did not report it on time. It was Fox News that reported it first, before any local. They can't even keep up. They can't keep up. I wrote that it was 3 abductions. It's more than 3, actually. It's more than 3 abductions that happened in 1 week. 3 were the ones that I was aware of when I was planning the live stream. Why? After I finished planning, this is the funny part about just today. After I finished planning the live stream, I was like, okay, these are the 3 that I knew of. Then I got to know of some that I was now aware of, and then some that just happened. Like, oh, there's this new one that just happened. It's like an album. It's like a Friday release of an album, and ISWAP and Fulani bandits, they are just, and Fulani terrorists, they are releasing all their albums this Friday. You know. So yeah. Yeah, my wife is in the chat. People are wondering. Yeah, she is. The person that said hello, Hoppy, that's my wife. Anyways, so yeah, that is the situation in this great country. But in all of that, okay, we'll try to be positive and to be not just optimistic, but to keep the faith going, keep the faith strong, and remain resilient, remain non-jaded. Try by the grace of God to remain non-cynical. Okay, so how we are going to do this is that I'm going to show you a tweet by someone that kind of summarized all the attacks that happened today, or that happened this week. He summarized it because that is what it is right now. The report is no longer just one news at a time. You have to summarize it. So the first one is Brigadier General Musa Uba and 3 of his men were abducted and publicly executed by the Islamic, he said Islamic terrorists, but the Islamic terrorists is ISWAP. This is one interesting story. Let me just read some of the details of that story. You're not going to have it, like, I'm not going to open any of this now. I have it like written, so I'm just going to give you a summary. So this happened on Friday, but it was reported on the 17th. Like, it became like fully official that he has been executed. The ambush happened on Friday. The execution of the general happened on Monday or Sunday. So on late Friday evening, November 14 of 2025, this happened on Wajiroko village in northeast Bornu State. And the name of the general is Brigadier General Musa Uba, his convoy. We are returning from a patrol when it came under sustained gunfire by ISWAP. The Nigerian army confirmed that 4 militant personnel were killed in the ambush. Reports specified that 2 soldiers were killed and 2 civilian joint task force officials were also killed. And then the militant group, the Islamic State West African Province, ISWAP, took responsibility or claimed responsibility for the ambush. Reports from intelligence indicate that Uba was captured during the attack. though the military initially denied it. That is the funny thing about this story, was that initially the Nigerian army released a statement. The funny thing is that they didn't even delete the tweet. It's still up there. If you go to the Nigerian army's Twitter page, you will see it. They released a statement saying any person who is saying that the general was captured is fake news, that he wasn't captured, because it was published by the newspaper houses. Maybe that's why they are slow these days in reporting the news, because they don't want to get their information. They don't want to get fact-checked by people who are also inaccurate. So the Nigerian army on their Twitter page released a statement saying no, that General Musa Oba was not kidnapped, he was not captured, and that he fought off the attackers, and that he led the convoy back to base. That was the statement that was released, that, he was not captured. And that was only refuted by ISWAP. Okay, what happened was that ISWAP decided, oh, you said we did not capture him. Okay, here it is. Look at the picture of the man. So the video of his execution was public. It was all over Twitter, like for everybody to see. He was captured. He was interrogated. He was wounded on the leg. They had him sit on the floor. And after much interrogation, they shot him on camera. They released it. And then they released their publication. They have a publication that they release, claiming that, yes, they actually captured him. Right, and when that was released, the Nigerian government and the Nigerian army now had to admit that, yes, he was captured. So that's what we are dealing with. That is why when people regurgitate claims made by the government, I'm like, if you know how often this administration, this government, and not just this administration, but the past administration, if you know how often they lie, if you know how often they state facts that are inaccurate. I mean, you have the Minister of Foreign Affairs go on Piers Morgan and said that, see, in the last 5 years, only about 170 Christians have been killed. When in Yellowwater alone, over 300 were killed. Where in Plateau State in 2024, over like 300 too were killed. If you put 300 and 300 together, you're already getting close to like 1,000. Yet he said that only 170 something Christians have been killed by militants in the past 5 years. So these are the kind of lies you get from the government officials. So there is no point. I also saw a tweet by Pete Hegseth where he said he's having a conversation with Nigeria's Minister of Defense, or was it Minister of Defense, Nuhu Ribadu. They're having a conversation with Nuhu Ribadu, and he's like, yeah, we are working on something. And I'm like, look, if you want to do something in Nigeria and you are working with Nuhu Ribadu, I hope for your sake and for the sake of the of not just the Nigerian army, but the sake of your troops and whatever strategy that you are working with, that you know that you are working with people that cannot be trusted. I don't know what will inspire you to have confidence in these people. There is nothing about them that inspires it. I saw a tweet by Laura Luma in response to Riley Moore. Riley Moore keeps saying, I'm calling on the Nigerian government to do something about this situation, right? He keeps tweeting, I'm calling on the Nigerian government. I'm calling on the Nigerian government. They need to do something. They need to sit up and do something about this situation. And Laura Luma was like, this is the problem with talking about Islamic extremism, is that people don't understand that the real problem is Islam. You talk about everything. You talk about government incompetence. You talk about this. You talk about that. But you refuse to acknowledge the real elephant in the room, which is Islam. And as long as you continue to do that, you'll not be able to deal with the problem. And that's why the problem is going to continue to fester. But I digress, and that is a huge digression. Let me return back to the news I was reporting. All right. One report suggests that the Brigadier General briefly escaped before being recaptured. Right? An intelligence source claimed that ISWAP had Uba made a video call with a friend and used his phone to potentially lure or mislead rescue teams before executing him. So ISWAP tried to use his contacts to lure other military personnel into their net, and they have access to his phone. So, and this is a phone that he used to carry out his military business. So a lot of intelligence is in that device, and now it is in the hands of the terrorist. On Monday, November 17, 2025, ISWAP released a statement via its Almac propaganda channel claiming that they had executed the senior army officer following an interrogation. ISWAP supported this claim with a statement and images of the Brigadier General. Report mentioned 2 pictures, one showing him sitting on the ground after his capture, another shows him in his office before the event. Status of the 3 men. While reports consistently focus on Brigadier General Uba's capture and execution, the 3 of his men are likely part of the group of the 4 military personnel killed during the initial ambush, as confirmed by the army, or probably other personnel who were captured. Intelligence reported at one point suggests Uba was captured along with 16 soldiers, though the execution claim mainly centers on the general. So the number of who have been captured is not clear. Was it 3? Was it 4? Was it 16? So I say abduction, but this is like they were captured. So that is with regards to the first news here about the Brigadier General who was captured. Now, this second news, you can't find any report on it, but it actually happened. 64 civilians, including women and children, were abducted in this local government area of Zamfara State by Islamic terrorists on Saturday. Now, one thing we know about Zamfara State is that one of the reasons why you can't see any news confirming this is that kidnapping, this is just the truth, and I'm not saying this to be provocative or just to be inflammatory or to exaggerate. Zamfara State in Nigeria is the epicenter of kidnapping and banditry activities. Like when you talk about bandits who kidnap people in Zamfara State, that is where that is their base, that is their area of operation. Okay, I mean, these bandits in Zamfara are known. Like, they are not hiding. These bandits in Zamfara have TikTok accounts and they post on it. You know, they are known. That's the kind of banditry we have in Zamfara State. Not just known by people who are on the internet or known because they are on the internet. They are known by the authorities. The authorities have had meetings with them. Yeah, they've had meetings with the bandits to negotiate for peace. And the bandits will often come and say, if you bring the soldiers or to come and, you know, deal with the situation, we are going to double our kidnappings and we are going to make life difficult for you. That's kind of what we have in this country with regards to Zamfara State. And it has not stopped, it has not slowed down. It is common to hear 17 were kidnapped in Zamfara, 25 were kidnapped in Zamfara, another 14 others were kidnapped in Zamfara. Let me just list a couple of kidnappings that have happened in Zamfara that have been like recorded, like the ones we know, right? There is one that happened in October, where at least 73 villagers were kidnapped. There's another one that happened in 2023, where 150 people were kidnapped. You know, and then there's another one that happened in April of 2022. But these ones are just like year apart. But in this year alone, there have been multiple in Zamfara. So many in Zamfara. Right, that's what we have from Zamfara. And then we have this one, 25 female students and their principal abducted from a village in Manga, Kebbi State on Sunday. This happened on Sunday by Islamist terrorists, while their vice principal was killed. This one happened, many of you may have heard about it, during the congressional hearing. It was talked about. That was brought up. Also, what was also brought up, we are going to look at that one, is what happened in Iruko. Before we get to Iruko, let me give you the summary of what happened with the Kebbi students' abduction. So what happened was that this incident occurred in the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in the town of Manga, which is in the Danko Wazagu local government area of Kebbi State, Nigeria. The attack took place in the early hours of Monday, November 17th. So while we are getting reports that ISIS have executed a Brigadier General, we are also getting reports that terrorists have gone into a school and have kidnapped people in the school. The victims, 25 female students, were initially abducted from their dormitories. These were boarders. They were in a boarding school. One student was reported to have subsequently escaped and is safe. This means 24 students were reported to still be in captivity as of the latest report. The school principal was also reported by sources to have been abducted along with the students, but it later turned out that the school principal was actually killed while resisting or attempting to shield the students. Some sources reported that security guards were also killed, bringing the potential death toll among staffs to 2. Another person reportedly suffered an injury to their right arm. The assailants were described as gunmen or a gang of armed bandits by the police, armed with sophisticated weapons. They reportedly scaled the school fence, but of course that's what the police will call them, gang of armed bandits. But of course these are not armed bandits. These are terrorists. These are Fulani terrorists. No group have immediately claimed responsibility, and of course they don't, but they are already requesting a ransom of 200 million, right? I think that's what they are requesting, a ransom. But let's get to that. We'll get to that. Analysts often distinguish this bandits group from ideologically motivated Islamic militant group like Boko Haram and ISWAP, though both poses a significant threat in northern Nigeria. There are reports, however, that the attacks happened within a broader 72-hour period that included an execution claimed by ISWAP. School adoption for ransom have become a recurring and lucrative security challenge in Nigerian northern states since the 2014 Chibok girls kidnap. One of the things that have been reported is that the Kebbi State governor said, according to this is what the Kebbi State governor said, he said that there were military personnel who were initially guarding the school, but the military personnel said that they were commanded to leave. Are we seeing a reoccurring theme? They were commanded to leave, and as soon as they left, the bandits came in. Now, this is not me saying it, this is the governor saying it, right? This is the governor saying it. And the reports also that we are getting is that they are requesting a ransom of what is it called now? Of 200 million US, not US dollars, naira rather, 200 million naira for the release of the people that they kidnapped. And of course, they know that the people, these children, their parents cannot afford it. So essentially, they want the Nigerian government to pay them. And the Nigerian government has a reputation of paying these people, right? So that is just one fact that we need to put out there. Then the next one that we have on our split screen is this one was also shown during the congressional hearing about what was happening. Now, there's so many things that were said in the congressional. See, I know I've not said anything about the congressional hearing because it was uplifting. It was some things that we are said and you're like, oh, thank God someone is finally saying it. And then some things are said and you're like, oh God, what is going on? One of the things that I consider a total waste of time during the U.S. congressional hearing was the people who decided that they were going to spend their time. And of course, it's fine when you get it from Democrats, but you even had some Republican congressmen and women who decided that what was important was to talk about Trump's framing of the issue, because that is what is important. Oh, people are being killed, people are slaughtered, people are dying, but, the Nigerian government is complicit. They are probably facilitating the whole thing. Not probably. Well, let me say probably for the sake of my own safety, right? They're probably facilitating the whole thing, right? And what do we get from these people? Oh, Trump shouldn't have said guns are blazing. Why would he say guns are blazing? That is not a way to approach this. I mean, we had this Nigerian woman. The saddest part is that she's an Igbo woman. She went there and was just talking. God have mercy on all of us, because I'm tired of laying curses on people. God should have mercy on all of us. God should just have mercy on all of us because we need his mercy. What more can I say? God should have mercy on all of us. Okay, we need that mercy like yesterday. Before I continue giving my depressing news, let me acknowledge some super chats. I want to acknowledge James Jordan. Thank you for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you so much. You are a steady super chatter, and I appreciate that 100%. I want to appreciate Isaiah True One. Say, welcome back. Did you hear that African American community insulting Nicki Minaj because she spoke about Nigeria to the UN? Yeah, I saw those people. Of course, their issue is not with Nicki Minaj, or what she's talking about was because she said, I thank Donald Trump. That is something you don't do, okay? You know, especially when you have the kind of fan base that Nicki Minaj has, okay? You don't, when it's people, you know, your fans are your fans, you know, and then you say, I thank Donald Trump, but you've committed a serious heresy. So there is that one. There are so many things that happen in the news that I report on them. We're going to talk about some of the things that I've been working on. Some of you may be aware of them, some of you may not be aware of them, but we are going to talk about that. But in the grand scheme of things, some of these things don't really matter. Like, I did a video, or I'm doing a video right now, I'm editing a video talking about what happened with Nicki Minaj. And it will interest you to know that I didn't even focus on the black American. In fact, let me tell you something, and I think it's important I say this. Nigerians saw what the black Americans were saying to Nicki Minaj. And here was a tweet that I read. The tweet said, tomorrow, let me see any person that will come out and say Black Lives Matter. That was what I saw. I saw multiple tweets like that. That if I see any Nigerian come out and say Black Lives Matter. But of course, let's just. It happens. I'm just telling you that now is like the mood in Nigeria is not a mood. It's not one where don't test us. You know, that's kind of that's where we are right now. We are in the don't test us. Don't test us. Okay, just don't test us. Don't test us, you know. You need to see when Rolling Stone released their headline, you need to see how Nigerians went after Rolling Stone. Many of them were hearing about Rolling Stone for the first time, but the way they went after Rolling Stone, I mean, the way they've attacked Al Jazeera, you really like. My wife was telling me a story that somebody told her. This happened in Lagos. So the people were in the bus, they were traveling. Not like traveling a long distance, just like a short distance from one part of Lagos to another part of Lagos. So they were discussing in the bus and they were talking about the situation in Nigeria. I don't know if it was from one part of Lagos to another part, but they were on the bus. So they were discussing about the situation in Nigeria. And then somebody in the bus said that Nigerians are ungrateful. That isn't Tinubu doing his best. That insecurity always happens. Kidnappings have always been happening in this country. And what happened after that person made that statement was that the driver told everybody in the bus to calm down. And then told the man that said that what he said should not to enter his bus, told everybody to go back into the bus, and then refunded the man his fare and told him, yeah, sort yourself out. And he left him in the middle of nowhere, essentially. Just sort yourself out. Since insecurity is common, you know, these things happen often, right? Sort yourself out, since we are ungrateful Nigerians. So Nigerians now are in the mood of don't test us. So I say that to those in the West who are talking, and they like this is more than just. I even saw this tweet. Yes, this tweet where somebody said. I saw this tweet where somebody said. Just I don't save some of these tweets. I don't know why I didn't save this ones. Many of them will have been wonderful to show during this live stream. But I saw a tweet where somebody said that all the US Army know how to do is to talk about how they are ready to go to any place and just do anything. And since they talked about Nigeria, when are they coming? When are they coming? All this talk, and yet they are yet to arrive. When are they coming? I have a friend from the north. I spoke to her earlier this evening rather. She's in the southern part. Her family is in the north. She works in the south, and she usually travels home for Christmas. And she was telling me, Frank, what do I do? Do I travel? And I was like, I mean, I don't want you to become another victim. I know you want to travel, but I would advise you to just stay put. You know, this is the situation. This is real, guys. This is real. That's one thing I just want you guys to understand. Anyway, the next super chat, but this is somebody who became a member for 15 months. King of Current. had the Niger State abductees were moved with a plane. Yeah, I saw that. It has not been confirmed, but yeah, I saw that too. That the people who were kidnapped were moved out of the region through a plane. And if that is true, that shows the level of sophisticatedness that these bandits are now, or these so-called bandits are now operating with. But we'll get to all of that. So yeah, if you want me to pause and discuss some of the things you want to bring up, this is the best way to do it. You send in super chats and we'll read them and we'll have a very lovely conversation. So I look forward to more super chats from you. And we continue. All right, so yeah, I think we just finished talking about the 25 students that were kidnapped and the principal was killed, and the terrorists are requesting for 300 million. Now we move to the one that happened yesterday. This happened yesterday. Iruku, Kwara State. This happened yesterday. So let me show you the split screen so you can see the one I'm referring to. This is 38 worshippers abducted from a church in Iruku, Kwara State yesterday. So here is the report. The incident is reported to have occurred on Tuesday, November 18, 2025, during a midweek service. Not yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday, but rather on Tuesday. Sorry, I need to correct that. On Tuesday, not yesterday. On Tuesday. I think it was yesterday. So it's a day before yesterday. Anyways, so this happened on Tuesday during a midweek service in the Christ Apostolic Church in Shegu in Iruku, Ekiti local government area of Kwara State. Okay, the location is the Christ Apostolic Church. This happened around 6 p.m. The perpetrators were suspected terrorists. The casualty reports, the attackers, they shot 2 people, or 2 or 3 of the worshippers. Some reports said 5. We don't know. And then the people that were abducted, the abductees, are a total number of 38. And most of them are women. They are women within the ages of 7 and 64. Now, the ransom amount that is being demanded, it varies. The bandits have reportedly contacted the families demanding a ransom of 100 million for each of the 38 victims. So when you put that together, each of the 38 victims is supposed to pay 100 million for their release. When you put that together, that is 3.8 billion naira. That is what they are demanding. The kidnappers contacted the families on Thursday, November 20th, 2025, grouping the victims according to their relatives. The officials of the Kwara State Police Command spokesperson stated that the command had not received any official report of a ransom demand as of Thursday. Of course, why would they receive any information of such? Please, let's not pay attention to what the official report is at this point. The official report is so... This is the country we live in. Anyways, security agencies like the police, the military, and local vigilantes are reportedly conducting intensified operation in and around Iruku to track down the perpetrators and rescue the victims. Kwara State Governor Malam Abdulrahman Razak condemned the attack and has sought an immediate deployment of more security operatives to the Iruku axis. The governor, now there's something that is not being mentioned here, but for weeks, bandits have been operating freely in the Iruku axis, and the community have been crying out to the government for help. So this is not something that took the community by surprise, so to speak, because they have been operating within the Iruku axis for a very long time. And the governor also commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the deployment of 900 additional troops to Kwara. 900 additional troops, in addition to how many that have been there before. And yet, despite that number, now 900 more is going to make a difference. You know, the police has dismissed a viral video claiming that the bandits were arrested. Of course, they were not. So yeah, that is what we know from the attack. Then there is this attack. Give me a second. we are going to react to things. Okay, we are going to react to things. It's not just me reading the reports that we are going to do today. We are going to do a lot more than just that. Okay, we're going to do a lot more than just that. The next report here, that's this one. One police officer killed in an attack by Islamists in Yobe State cannot be confirmed. There's no way to confirm this. Then there was this one: 8 members of the civilian task force killed and 3 abducted by Islamic terrorists in Goza, Bornu State yesterday. Now, one thing you need to know about Goza is that Goza is a Christian community in Bornu State. Okay, it's a Christian community in Bornu State, so you know that this is an attack on Christians. So before the government tries to gaslight you and say this is happening in the north and Muslims are usually the victims, this is an example of where they are not, even though it is happening in the north, you know. And of course, this is also another one where it has not been confirmed officially. So there's no official confirmation of this report. Now, the reason why I'm reciting is that this is a compilation by Femi Fani Kayode. So, you know, this is Femi Fani Kayode who is talking. Although he's a notorious liar, but he will not be lying about something like this. So I'm going to take his word as gospel. Then you have 15 abducted, including 4 nursing mothers and babies, and 2 killed in Sabon, Bini, Sokoto State by Islamic terrorists yesterday. It's another yesterday. So, let's see if we can find details of that. Give me a second. Yep, this can also not be confirmed. And then, last but not the least, the one that happened today. Let's just keep these other ones because I have a feeling that they too will not be they will not be confirmed either. So let's go to the one that happened today, the one that I used in the opening that was reported by Fox News at the beginning of the live stream. All right, give me a second. I'm trying to bring it out as quickly as possible. Trying to pull out the summaries. Okay. So here's the summary of what happened today. So this happened in St. Mary's School in Papiri community in Agwara local government area of Niger State, Nigeria. Happened on the early hours of today, around 2 a.m. local time. There's a conflicting report on the number of abductees. According to Arise TV, local news media, 52 school children were kidnapped, which is what you had on Fox News. But according to the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, 215 pupils and 12 teachers were kidnapped. So it's kind of like a larger number than what we had from Fox News. The perpetrators are unidentified gunmen, okay, often referred to as bandits, and who typically carry kidnappers for kidnappings. No specific group have claimed, you know. This is how the news often report this. According to the Catholic Diocese of Kotangora, one security staff was badly shot during the attack. The armed men reportedly demand a ransom of 100 million for each abductee. So we are looking at 5 billion or 20 billion at this point. That's if it's 200 abductees, there are 200 abductees plus 12 teachers. We are looking at 20 billion that they are requesting. St. Mary is a Catholic boarding school. The abduction occurred despite prior intelligence warning of heightened threat in the area. And the Niger State government have come out to criticize the school for reopening without clearance, exposing its pupils to avoidable risk. So instead of the government saying, oh, look, we failed, they are blaming the school. The governor of Niger State has come out to blame the school for opening. They shouldn't have opened. They should have closed. By the way, you should know that schools in Kebbi has been closed. Schools in Kwara State are closed. Students are supposed to be in school learning with their fellows in other parts of the country, but they cannot do that because of insecurity. And instead of the government to recognize how much of a failure they have become and how this country is, doing its best to fit into the description of Donald Trump, instead of recognizing that, is to blame the school of authorities, claiming this could be avoided if you had just closed. Calling it an avoidable risk. School opening is the same as a girl walking by 1 a.m. at night. That is what the government wants us to understand. So when you have bandits issuing out threats, instead of the security agency to beef up security and double their effort and make sure that does not happen, having prior intelligence of what is going to happen, instead of that taking place, no, they tell everybody to evacuate the premises, leave, get out of there. That is the government's official statement. Talk about shamelessness. The Niger State Police Command confirmed the deployment of military and security forces to the community to attempt to rescue the abducted students and staff. That is what we have with regards to insecurity in Nigeria. That is what we have with regards to insecurity in the very great nation called Nigeria. This is Nigeria, my country, the greatest nation on the planet. No nation like it. It's the largest black nation, a nation with over 200 million black people, created by the great Lord Lugard himself. And King of Currency said 3.8 billion naira is approximately $2.5 million US. Yeah, that is what they are requesting for. Thank you for giving us that international perspective of the amount of money that you are asking for. It's much needed. Honestly, it is. So people can understand what we are talking about. Then please give us what 20 billion will be for the ones that were just kidnapped in Niger State. Yeah, thank you. He just gave us 20 billion naira is about 14 million US dollars. That is what they are asking for. And what do you think they're going to use that money to do? They're going to use it to buy sophisticated weapons. Okay, they're going to use it to equip themselves, armed to the teeth, ready to face the Donald Trump that is coming for them. This is their procurement process. This is how they how do I call it now? This is how they procure ammunitions, So anyways, away from sad distance, let's just let's do an interlude. And the interlude is that I'm going to play one of the videos. Okay, first of all, I want you guys to know this. Many of you may not know it, but I won't have you ignorant, ladies and gentlemen, of the great works that I have been doing. Says I'm sounding like Paul the Apostle. I won't have you ignorant, brethren, of the great work that I have been doing. Okay? I won't have you ignorant of them. You need to know. And if you don't know, then we have a problem. Okay? You need to know. All right, so what is the great work? I want to show you guys my channel, my second channel actually. And I think you guys need to know about it. I know that is where I post many things, you know. So I want you guys to know. I made a YouTube post about it, and one of the things I intend to achieve with this live stream is to, you know, draw attention to it. So here we go. So this is my second YouTube channel. It's called Bliss of Jihad. So this one is very focused. Bliss of Jihad. And we have 2 videos there already. And I want you guys to know, if you I'll put a link to it in the live chat right now so that you guys can go and check it out. We even pin it so that it will be easy. Give me a second. I can't pin it, but that is the link. I just posted it. Please, John, if you are available, just help me to keep reposting it so people can go there and check out this new channel. It's important that you guys, like, right now we have just 4 subscribers. Don't worry, it went live today, in case you're wondering. It just went live today, and we have 2 videos and we have 4 subscribers. And so yeah, just go subscribe to the channel. It's the same thing that I come here and I talk about, but I kind of repackage it and give it that sarcastic twist that I'm notorious for. And I am doing this on a new channel because I feel like the algorithm of this current channel has been like, I think I've messed it up by doing shorts and some other things on the channel. So it's really not, it's like a loss. It's not a lost cause with regards to videos, but I want to try out a different channel so that, you know, we'll see how the algorithm will help us. And I will keep posting on this channel. Like, I have a video I'm already working on that will go live on Monday, and then I have another one that will go live on Friday next week. So we are working, and these two videos just went live today. I posted both of them today. So we are doing great stuff, and you should follow it. It's not going to be dormant like every other channel that I've opened. This one, I mapped it out. I worked on the logistics. I know what I'm doing, or at least I believe I do. So I just, you know, and I want to show you guys the first video. But instead of playing it from here, I'll play it straight up from my system where I have it, because I think it's better that way. So I'll play this one. It's called They Promised Doctors and Engineers and They Sent This. So I'll be playing that, and just give me a second. Let me pull it out. Hello, I wonder. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, here's the video, and my face will be gone for a while, but so you guys can enjoy it uninterrupted. So you know the kind of things you are expecting when you join the channel. For those who are wondering, should I subscribe to this channel? What is it about? So yeah, it's something to, you know, make you understand what we are talking about. So here we go. And this is not the end of the live stream, okay? This is just an interlude. This is an interlude. Before you say, oh, this is the end. No, I will be back. Once the video is done playing, I'll be back, okay? So, like, my face will be back. I'm still here. It's just that the video will be playing and you will not see my face. I want you guys to have this like a viewing experience. This is our watch party, okay? Something like that. Beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. The only place where you can look at the world burning with Islamic peace and say, you know what? I think I need more popcorn. We've got a fantastic lineup of heartwarming stories for you today. More incredible tales of human decency, proof that border control is doing amazing, and a deep dive into the most misunderstood religious scholars on the planet. Grab your coffee or maybe something stronger, because we are diving into the depths of jihadi awesomeness. First up, we are off to lovely Bristol in the UK, where 7 pillars of the community have been charged with over 40 offenses. Were they double parking? No. Loudly debating the merits of pineapple on pizza? No. They were doing something worse. They were allegedly running a group-based child sexual exploitation ring targeting 11 teenage girls. I mean, you have to admire the teamwork. 7 guys, 40 plus charges. That's a 5.7 crime per person efficiency rate. These men should be teaching a corporate seminar on synergy. And get this, the defendants are a veritable United Nations of talent. We've got an Egyptian, a Syrian, an Iranian, and an Iraqi amongst others. See, this is that beautiful diversity they promised us. These are the highly skilled doctors and engineers we were told would enrich the UK. I suppose they are just specializing in gynecology and pharmacology, but without all that boring paperwork and consent forms. And it is a sheer, total, absolute coincidence that 2 members of this esteemed group are named Muhammad. This definitely has nothing to do with a certain renowned 7th century figure who also had some, let's call them, unconventional views on the appropriate age for marriage and consummation. I mean, Muhammad is just a popular name like Richard Huckle or L. Bradley. Next off, we jet off to sunny Alicante, Spain for a story of tourism and torture. A 50-year-old woman was rescued after being held captive for a week in a drug den where she was allegedly tortured with a blowtorch and raped. Seriously, a blowtorch? That's not torture. That's just widely inefficient. Everyone knows that the best way to inflict pain is with a strongly worded opinion post on X. Just ask Keir Starmer or the UK justice system. Anyway, the main suspect is an Algerian national. This, my friends, is the vibrant cultural enrichment Spain has been crying out for. It is a bold new take on hospitality. And let's be clear, this has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Algeria's population is 99% Muslim or any religious text that might be interpreted as giving some fellas the divine right to plow through any women their right hand possesses. And one of the arrested suspects was a Spanish national. See, that's cultural exchange at work. And based on progressive modern realities, a person who looks like this may very well be that Spanish national. Our tour of European delights continues in Berlin, where police are investigating the alleged gang rape of a 17-year-old girl. The assault allegedly happened in a vacant apartment that, according to the building manager, had become a popular hangout spot for groups of men. Probably just a book club, and the discussion on pride and prejudice got way too intense. Police arrested one man, a Tunisian, then they let him go. I'm sure he had a rock-solid alibi. In Germany, the rent may be too high, but the crime is free. Now, call me crazy, but what are the odds of the suspects being of Middle Eastern or North African origin and adhering to the life choices of the final prophet of the second popular religion on the planet? Statistically, that's got to be close to 0, right? It's always the people you least expect, like a gang of rogue Liberians. Yes, let's go with that. Now for something completely different, let's travel to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the ISIS-linked Allied Democratic Forces attacked the hospital. And not just any hospital, one run by the Little Sisters of the Presentation, because when you want to prove your religious and moral superiority, your first target should always be nuns. They butchered at least 17 people, slitting the throats of breastfeeding mothers in their beds and burning patients alive. But remember everyone, this has nothing to do with Islam. Moderate Muslims everywhere have absolutely no comment, but tell them that the perpetrators were screaming Allahu Akbar and watch them deliver a brilliant lecture about how facts like that are the root cause of Islamophobia. This ADF attack is clearly a complete misrepresentation of the religious command that inspired Muhammad and his rightly guided caliph to do, well, pretty much the exact same thing across Arabia and North Africa. It's just a crazy coincidence, like lightning striking the same non-run hospital twice. Speaking of spreading the good word, let's pop over to Lagos, Nigeria, which recently hosted Sheikh Asim Al-Hakim for a peace and unity convention. Unity through what, you may ask? Well, critics dug up a video where the Sheikh helpfully explained your 3 options when his pious brothers conquer you. Convert to Islam, pay a jizya tax to not be killed, or fight and become a slave. See? Peace and unity. In another heartwarming clip, he proudly stated he would give his own 6-year-old daughter to the Prophet Muhammad in marriage.
Wallahi, if I had a 6-month-old, I would give it to him.
What a guy. So naturally, a former Nigerian presidential aide, Bashir Ahmed, rushed to his defense, calling everyone who pointed this out an Islamophobe. This is the same aide who had previously expressed his support for the death penalty for blasphemy and said it is an honor to be called an Islamic extremist. With friends like this, who needs enemies? This all goes to show that there is absolutely no reason to think Islam has a terrorism problem. Preachers like this and their powerful fans are simply showing us the blissful peace and tranquility that awaits all non-Muslims. It is a very peaceful religion, especially after you have been conquered. And still in Nigeria, over the weekend, bandits attacked a girls' school and just walked off with 25 students. They also killed the vice principal who died trying to shield the girls. The government's response was immediate and powerful. They sent the deputy governor to the area to assess the situation. I'm sure that was incredibly comforting to the grieving parents. Don't worry, the government has dispatched a man in an agbada to come and look concerned. Everything is under control. It is a shining example of the remarkable progress the Nigerian government is making in its fight against insurgency. The bandits saw the deputy governor coming and we are like, oh no, a bureaucrat, run, he has forms. And they are being defeated one situation assessment at a time. It is a marathon, not a sprint, a very, very slow marathon. And for our grand finale, a story that perfectly sums up the security situation in Nigeria. An army patrol led by a Brigadier General gets ambushed by ISWAP. The Nigerian army immediately released a statement. Fake news. The general is fine. He fought them off and he's back at base. And then a few hours later, ISWAP posted a photo of the captured general before announcing that they have executed him. So, awkward. This really shows that Nigeria is the safest country on the planet, a place where even the top military brass tasked with fighting insecurity can't even protect themselves. It's like your personal trainer getting winded walking up a flight of stairs. You just feel inspired. And it's all part of the government's effective and innovative laissez-faire approach to national security. And that's all the good news we have for you today. A world full of peace, tolerance, and competent leaders. Makes you want to hug your neighbor, doesn't it? Or at least check if they are building a bunker. Right, and that is it. What do you guys think? That is the live... that is the live video. All right. So yeah, that is what you get from the channel. So please head over there, subscribe, and let every other person who you know is interested in stuff like this subscribe. It's going to be great. All right. So just wanted to point that out. I'll probably bring this up again, but yeah. Okay. So I have a video that I want us to look at. Happily enough, this is not a video that will get anybody angry. Well, it's something that has been okay. Before that, I want to show us something. So there's this movie that Netflix just released in Nigeria recently. It's called The Herd. Oddly enough, I just watched it. I didn't watch it. I watched part of it. My wife was the one who saw everything. So I don't know if I can even play the trailer, but here is the trailer of the video. Essentially, the movie is talking about banditry in Nigeria. And in the movie, this couple and their best man were driving home from their wedding and they were accosted by bandits and they were kidnapped. And many people in Nigeria are losing their minds over this, especially those from the north. They said that this is a bad stereotype. In fact, let's read some of the comments. This is Netflix. This is Netflix Nigeria's. This is their account on Twitter, and this is the post that they made. And here's the trailer. And here's what you can just see what people are saying about it just from the comment. This is from Tochi Amanda. She say, "All of you saying read the room as how this is literally the reality of Nigeria today. Make nobody vex me today, I beg." So what she's saying is that some people in the comments are like, oh, Netflix, bad timing. This is not the perfect time to be bringing this kind of story. And she's like, what do you mean bad timing? This is the reality of what is happening in Nigeria. And here is a movie that perfectly encapsulates it and is released. In fact, the movie was released at the peak of kidnapping in Nigeria. It's so interesting. Enoch said, I like the attention to details here. The NYSC copper, the use of cows as a distraction, the way everything escalated from 0 to 100 real quick. The only thing missing is beheading of humans and chanting in Arabic. So this person again is like, everything here is perfect. The only thing people forgot was the part where the bandits scream, Allahu Akbar, and they behead people. That's if you had added that part to be perfect, it wouldn't be a work of fiction. Definitely, I will look out for it. It exposes the current situation in this country, the insecurity, kidnapping, etc. And they're trying to bring it down. But guess what? It's global now. Yeah, that's the problem now, is that the Nigerian government and so many people in the government have been trying to hide this, but now it is no longer hidden. It's now on Netflix. Okay, you can now watch on Netflix the reality of what happens in this country. And the funny thing is that, this person who talked about the fact that there was no beheading and there was no chanting in Arabic is showing you that, Netflix didn't, even though Netflix is trying to portray what is happening, they are trying also not to offend Muslims and Northerners. But then, Muslims and Northerners will always be offended. There are people who will always be offended by the truth. And that is why you have some people who are criticizing and condemning this story and saying it does not depict Northerners in the right way. But yeah, you have people who are giving accurate description. Say, in case the Muslim Islamic government decide to force you all to delete it. So some people are like, if they force you guys to delete it, we are saving this. You guys should not delete it. It's on Netflix now, like I said. It's out on Netflix. And you can, go and watch it. Bishop B says, so accurate, the foreign-based babe who thought she had escaped Nigeria's kidnapping on her wedding day, hero cop but could not afford delivery fee for his wife. Terrorism expanding in the southwest as new bandits need new territory. Tribalism, people fighting over Oso and Idialakas when more serious issues are on the line, and so many other cogent truths. And this is somebody who is giving a summary. I just finished watching and I can confirm that this is our reality currently in Nigeria. Big thumbs up to the producer of the movie and the perfect timing for its release. This is one thing that I think. I think one thing about the movie is the perfect timing. Somebody said, you carry bears and you know fit reverse. Anyway, if you watch the movie, you understand that statement. They said, headsmen where they wear Nike. Village people or Akbar. This is why I love movie critics. They pay attention to details. Like, how are the bandits wearing Nike? Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, but beside that, then you have somebody like Kao Galba saying, this is a dangerous ethnic profiling. Fulani headsmen are not synonymous to armed bandits. You should be ashamed of yourselves for this, Netflix. Yep. And, somebody say, Arike, why don't you go ahead and cancel them? Oops, my bad. I forgot animals. Don't watch that. Don't watch it. Man, I'm telling you right now, Nigerians are like, they're on a don't test me mode. Like, they're really on a don't test me mode right now. Like, the don't test me mode that they're on is unprecedented. I'm telling you. Here is BBC's reporting of what happened in the Catholic school in Niger State. And they said, unknown number of pupils have been abducted by armed men from armed men. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah. But before that, there's a clip I want us to look at. I want us to look at this clip real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up. Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull it up. What is happening to my... Let me just search for it instead. This clip that I want us to look at is from a pastor, a Nigerian pastor, whose church is in the UK. The pastor is Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, and he's pastor of KICC. I think it's Kingdom Way International Christian Center. He's the pastor of KICC. Also, something you need to know about him is that he's from a Muslim family, so he his parents, his siblings were Muslims, and then he converted to Christianity and became a pastor. And he's a very successful pastor. If you measure success by having a church in the UK that has a huge congregation and also has like branches in Nigeria and other parts of the world. So he's somebody who has been a pastor for a very long time. I remember when I was growing up back then in Lagos, we watched match every Sunday. My dad, is it Sunday? I think it was Sunday. My dad always would turn into, I think it was Channels TV. And we'll listen to Matthew Ashimolo was preaching. So here he is talking about the situation in Nigeria, and he attempts to answer the question: is there religious genocide or genocide of Christians or anti-Christian genocide in Nigeria? So that's the question he's trying to answer. Okay? So we'll look at his answer, and by the time we are done, we'll be almost done with the live stream. All right, well, before we get to that, I just want to acknowledge the people who had good comments for my video that I showed you guys, those who were inflating my ego. So let me see some of the comments. This is from John. John said, okay, no, this is not. First of all, this lady said, that's Queen XOXO said, Frank's sarcasm game is unmatched. Thank you. John said, true, he is the king of sarcastic humor. I am honored. Queen also said, exactly, bro. Really opened my eyes to see that the teaching of the Christian God and Allah is not the same divine being and never will be. I don't know if that is about me, but fine. And then John, I think he's reacting to the last news reports from the video where he said, how embarrassing for the Nigerian army. They were caught out on their lie. And they are not even ashamed of it. That's the funny part. They are not even ashamed of it. Anyways, so let's go to this video.
Spend between 10 and 15 minutes to address it.
Give me a second. Let me increase the volume of this.
Spend between 10 and 15 minutes to address it. The dictionary defines genocide as, because I knew you were going to ask, so I got ready for you. The dictionary defines genocide as the deliberate and systematic killing or persecution of a large number of people from a particular national or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group of people. And with that definition, I'm going to turn my answers to a question or questions to the majority of you who are here today.
Okay.
Let me give my response about.
So he begins by giving us the dictionary definition of genocide. And I think one of the things that when you notice people who talk about this and say it is not a genocide, whatever it is that they say, whether you are reading what they are saying from the BBC or you are reading it from Rolling Stone or you are reading it from Al Jazeera, the people who go and, oh, there is no genocide. One thing they don't even care to do is to define it. To say, okay, let's define what the genocide is. Let us understand what the genocide definition is. And I think it is great that he began by defining genocide. And I think it's important that we are reminded over and over again of what that word actually means. Okay? Genocide is the deliberate, intentional, it's not accidental, but intentional, targeted attack on a group of people based on their ethnicity, based on their nationality, based on their religion. Okay? Based on their natural identity or religious identity, with the aim of inflicting harm on that group. So if the goal is to actually inflict harm on that group or to wipe them out in part or in whole, okay? So there are many intentions that you have when you attack a group of people that will make it genocide. You are attacking them because you want to inflict harm on them. You are attacking that group because you want to eradicate them in part or in whole. If you're attacking them because you want to just reduce their population by like 1% or even 2%, that is already genocide. If you're attacking them with the intention to wipe them out completely, your ultimate goal is to wipe them out as much as possible. If your goal is to inflict harm on that group, then you have committed you are committing an act of genocide. Okay? Now, it is not the same as what happened. This is when you understand the definition of genocide, you see why what happened in Gaza is not. Many people will argue. I myself are one of those people. I'm one of those people who will argue that what happened in Gaza during the war. That's the war that Israel what just concluded in the last 2 years in Gaza does not constitute genocide, despite the numbers that whoever is publishing those numbers, even if there are 100,000, even if there are 200,000 civilians that were killed. Why it is not genocide was it targeted? Was the goal of the target to eradicate this group? If that is not the case, yes, these are just casualties of war. This is the cost of counter-terrorism. This is the price that Hamas is willing to pay. And they are paying. Of course, they're not the ones paying. It is the Gazans that are paying. That is what it is. And it's tragic. And nobody is denying the fact that it is tragic. War is messy. Okay? And some people are like, oh, you hear people like the Piers Morgans of the world be like, oh, because Israel is not agreeing to a ceasefire agreement, and because they refuse to stop, because though the reason why they refuse to stop is because they've not achieved their objective for the war. That's why they are not stopping. Oh, because this has gone on for too long, therefore it is a genocide. No, that the war has gone on for 10 years does not make it genocide. Okay? All those are just emotional, and that's the thing. When people talk about genocide, they use an emotional definition. It's just, I don't like this, therefore it is genocide. I don't like this, or, this is too much, therefore it's genocide. That is not how you define genocide. That is why what happened in Gaza is not genocide. Because it's not the goal of the killing, even of civilians, was not to harm the Gazans, was not to inflict harm on them, was not to eradicate them in part or in whole. The goal was fighting Hamas, a terror group that has mastered the craft of embedding itself among civilians and using human shields. That is the situation in Gaza. But when you come to Nigeria, it's a different situation. When we have this definition in mind, then we have to take examples. Okay? You take examples of instances of attacks by ISWAP, by Boko Haram, by bandits, and then you analyze each of them, or even just by average Muslims. Some of these attacks, and you're going to see it when because he's going to list them. Some of these attacks are even carried out by average Muslims that don't belong to any terror group. Okay, so when you analyze each of them, what do you define it as? For example, Hamas attack on October 7 was an act of genocide. The goal was to inflict harm on the Jewish population, the Jewish ethnicity, in part, and to eradicate them in part. And the larger plan is to eradicate them as a whole. It is written in their charter, it is what they believe in, it is what they teach their children. So October 7 was an act of genocide. So let's keep all of this in mind so that we understand the definition, and then we move forward.
I was born in 1952 in Zaria. I was born in the military barracks. I grew up in Kaduna, Zaria, Kaduna, Kano. So my answer does not come out of just newspaper, but experience. The first riot I ever experienced, with all due respect, was against people from the East. I was there during the Zaria riots when your crime was that you were Igbo. They didn't tell me, I saw it. People were being killed right before my eyes. My dad was a soldier trying to prevent it. And I remember the man coming back with a deep dent in his military helmet as the guys were screaming and walking the roads of Zaria and screaming, Tawaye. Tawaye means our eyes have opened. Following the first coup by Kaduna and Zogu. they felt their eyes had opened. So there certainly was genocide.
So he just gave a first example of an act of genocide in Nigeria. Now, people don't know that there have been many acts. Okay? An act of genocide, many acts of genocide has taken place in Nigeria. And he mentioned the Kano riots. This happened after the first military coup in Nigeria that was labeled Igbo coup. Now, it wasn't an Igbo coup. That was propaganda that was spread by Northerners and used as a justification to attack Igbos living in the North. And during the Kano riot, Igbos were attacked. They were looking for them, killing them because they were Igbos. This happened in this country, and people who perpetrated it were Northerners. You see, that these people from the North have always been, some people will say, this has always been the Northerners have been the problem of the country. Now, he mentioned the Kano riot. There is one he did not mention, which I've mentioned before. This happened under, what's the name of? Muritala Mohammed. This was General, I don't think then he was Major General Muritala Mohammed. But before he became Major General Muritala Mohammed, during the Nigerian Civil War, so there was an attack while the Nigerian army was fighting the Biafran army. Now, okay, let me give you some context with regards to the Nigerian Civil War. I'll not give you enough. I'll just summarize everything. I'm saying that because King of Current pointed me to Biafran War as an example. Yes, during the Biafran War, there were acts of genocide that were committed. Like, under investigation, these will be described as an act of genocide, because they were not fighting some of the things the Nigerian army did was not fighting soldiers. It was fighting the civilians, and the goal was to eradicate them or inflict pain on them in part or in whole. And I'll give you an example. This was done by Major General Muritala Mohammed. Now, a Nigerian knows who Major General Muritala Mohammed was, who he was. He was a military head of state, essentially a president. He became president of the country, but what we call military head of state, a dictator. He was a dictator. He was a military general who became military head of state in Nigeria. So that's one thing about genocide in this country, is that if you do it very well, you might get you might get promoted. You know, this is not the first time in Nigeria. You know, there's this video that keeps circulating on social media of somebody, an army officer, saying that if a Boko Haram member repents and lay down his arms, he can become even the president of this country. Despite all the atrocities that this Boko Haram fighter have perpetrated, all of that will be forgiven. And I'm like, it didn't start today, okay? Where people who commit act of genocide stand the chance of becoming head of state tomorrow. It didn't start today. It started a long time ago. And a good example of that is Major General Muritala Mohammed. Now, what did he do? Now, during the Civil War, from the Nigerian side, one of the commanders that was very useless, that had no tactical knowledge of how to persecute war, was less effective and was just apparently incompetent, was Major General Muritala Mohammed. Whenever he led a troop against Biafra, it was a huge failure. It was always a huge failure. In fact, whenever the Biafran army most of the recorded success by the Biafran army was when they encountered troops led by Major General Muritala Mohammed. He was that incompetent, an absolute failure of a commander, right? So when they were fighting Biafra so the Biafran army had just blown up parts of the Niger bridge. So the Nigerian army, led by Major General Muritala Mohammed, was coming to Asaba, or some village in Delta. I'm not sure it's Asaba, but it was a place in Delta. This is well documented, okay? Yeah, somebody said, yes, he's on the 20, one of our currency. His face is there. This person I'm talking about, his face. That's how rewarded he was for his act of genocide. Okay? His face. I wish I have a 20 naira bill. Like, well, I will just show you so you can see his face. You know the person I'm talking about. So a troop led, the Nigerian troop led by Major General Morita, but then he was just commander or captain. I think he was captain or commander. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of what his rank was at the time. His troop came to Asaba. Now, when the people of Asaba or the people of Delta have forgotten a particular place in Delta, it's probably Asaba, but I'm not sure. When they saw that the Nigerian army was coming, they wanted to show the Nigerian army that they did not have any solidarity whatsoever with the Biafran army. They wanted the Nigerian army to see, look, we are not in support of people who just blow up this bridge. We are for you. They came to welcome the Nigerian army. They came to welcome them. They had they had green branches. They were waving it around and they were chanting, "One Nigeria, one Nigeria, one," because Biafra wanted Nigeria to split. That was what the war was about. So they were showing support for one Nigeria. Now, the troop led by Muritala Mohammed were ordered to kill the people who came to welcome them. They shot at them, killed them. And the ones that did not die were made to bury the ones that were killed. This is not an act of war. This is a genocide. You were killing innocent civilians for no other reason than to inflict pain on that group of people. That was an act of genocide in this country, an act of genocide that had not been addressed. It is a history. The history of this nation is soaked in the blood of innocent people. And people who soaked the blood, who spilled the blood, we are promoted. If there's any consolation, Muritala Mohammed, when he became head of state, was assassinated. If there's any consolation, he was assassinated in a failed coup. But that is one act of genocide in this country that was carried out by a Muslim general or Muslim captain or Muslim commander, whatever title he was holding at the time. This is a reality that happened in this nation. And this is as far back as the 1960s. How many years ago? You can Google this and I just told you. It's public record. It's known.
Because people were being dragged out of their house and killed. But then when it comes to the hot case on hand, is there religious genocide in Nigeria? Firstly, I'd like to say that whatever issue is in Nigeria, because it was not dealt with, it became a snake with 5 heads or more heads. And so when you are looking at each case, you need to know which head you are dealing with. Bandit is a head.
Mm-hmm.
Banditry is a head. Terrorism is a head. Fulani herdsmen carrying guns and invading people's farm, chasing them out, is another head.
Yes.
The guys who demand money, what did they call them? Kidnappers is a head, and there are many more heads. And then deliberate chasing of people away from their land and immediately putting another tribe there is a head. So
everything he mentioned is happening in this country. Everything he mentioned is that there are people who are doing this. These attackers who attack communities and displace them. Like when you hear IDP camps, internally displaced persons. I want people in the West, if you are hearing me, to kind of imagine it. Imagine a state like Texas. Or imagine a state like California. Or imagine a state like New York. Or imagine a state like London. And imagine that somebody from France or from only God knows where, or somebody from Mexico, or only God knows where. I mean, you guys have illegal migration, fine, but this is much worse than that. These people come, they come with guns, they come with machetes, they attack communities brazenly. They are not hiding it. They attack communities. The people in that community are displaced within their country, and their attackers occupy the place where these people have been driven out from. Like they drive out the locals by force, by killing and slaughtering them randomly, constantly, take over their land, rename it. A place that is called something in Nupe is now called something else in Fulani language. That is happening. Rename the community. It's happening in this very country. And then the Nigerian military are like, we cannot deal with this situation. I'm like, don't you know where the people are? Don't you know who this invader? I don't understand. It just does not. Up to now, whenever the Nigerian government talk about it, it blows my mind. Like, it literally blows my mind. Because I ask myself, what do you mean? It's like somebody came to my house, came to my house, took over one room in my house, and to chase the person out of the room, I'm like, I don't know how to. Don't I know where he is? I know that room. It's my room. I know the room. I know where he is. Like, he's there. What do you mean you cannot? Is a complex? Is difficult? We are trying our best. We are not. What?
Are these things happening in Nigeria or not? I'll just take you down some historical cases and I'll ask you, is it really happening in Nigeria? Maitasine, in the 70s, a man who rose and began to teach a form of Islamic cleansing that says anybody who was not of that particular belief must die. Is that not genocide? And is that fair in a secular nation?
Here's the problem. Of course, I get where he's coming from. Of course, you don't want to ruffle feathers and all whatnot. And this is somebody who is from a Muslim background, but he should know. Well, maybe he doesn't. There are many Muslims who don't know. But he wasn't teaching a form of Islam. It is just Islam. Man, this is one of the hardest messages to tell people. It is not a form of Islam. Okay, the genocidal element of the religion is not a form of Islam. It is Islam. In Islam, you have been commanded to kill or at least fight anything other than Islam. That is not a version. You know, yes, Muslims keep arguing, is ISIS right or is ISIS not? Is terrorists, are these terrorists right or are they not? It's Islam. It's an Islamic problem. It's not a. If you read the Quranic texts themselves, you see where they are coming from. Like, I encourage people, if you want to understand this terrorist, go and read what they write. They have write-ups. They have propaganda or so-called propaganda publications. Whether it is ISIS, whether it is ISWAP, whether even ISWAP now publish propaganda, they now have their own propaganda publication, or whether it is ISCAP, the one that is operating in Congo. Just read what they write and compare it to what you find in the Quran and ask yourself, are these people mad or are they just correct? Are they mistaken? Or is this not obvious from the literal reading of the Quran that these people have a point? Listen to those who counter them and listen to their own argument of what these verses are supposed to say. And ask yourself, who is actually right? Who is being true to the text, to the text, to the text, and who is not being true? And you will find out at the end of the day that these so-called radical extremists are just devout, pious Muslims. They're people who take it seriously. I mean, that is the core of religion. As a religious person, you're supposed to take your religion seriously. In fact, it is a call upon. I don't think there's any religion where the rule is don't take whatever we say. Don't take any of our religious practices and religious rituals and religious ordinances. Don't take them seriously. You know, these are just, we are playing when we said, when our God or our prophet or whatever it is told us that this is what we are supposed to do, we are not supposed to take it seriously. It's kind of like a suggestion. So that is the reality at the end of the day. Anyway, moving on.
Zango Katav. Zango Katav, in case you don't know, what you know as Kaduna State was once including Katsina. And on grounds of religion, Katsina State was cut off because the majority of Katsina State was Islamic. And what remained as Kaduna State was majority what we call Southern Kaduna, Zango Katav, people who are so on and so forth. I don't want to mention all.
Yeah, there are so many parts of Nigeria today that we consider as Muslim majority, but they were not the case few years ago, like not too long ago. Kaduna didn't used to be Muslim majority. Bauchi didn't used to be Muslim majority. There used to be a Christian majority hub, but Islamic expansion, they gradually, steadily, they have been pushing out the locals, taking over, pushing them. Now you say Kaduna is a Muslim state. Kaduna now enforces Sharia. Same with Gombe, same with Bauchi. How did that occur? Was it not through systemic killing of people, inflicting harm on them, driving them out of their land?
The tribes. And despite cutting and now having Kaduna State,
it was not enough.
The south of Kaduna State is 99% Christian, producing Professor Ishaya Audu, first Vice Chancellor
of Ahmadu
Bello, producing General Ishaya Bameyi, producing former Deputy Governor Central Bank, Melafia. But somebody was still not satisfied and wanted their land. And particularly under the watch of a particular governor, probably 23,000 of these people died. Is it so? Is it not so? And if people of that number died, I mean, Zangu Kata, people were being hacked, cut like animals because you wanted their land and because they didn't follow your religion. Is that genocide or not? There was beheading in Kano because...
Exactly. That's the question for the Nigerian government. What happened in this area that he's calling in Kaduna, was it genocide? 20,000 people killed, hacked with machetes. This was not carried out by... You need to understand that this was not carried out by Boko Haram. This was not carried out by bandits. This was carried out by their neighbors. You need to understand. This was carried out by their neighbor. It was their neighbor, their Muslim neighbors, that did this to them because they believe that they have been ordered to do so under Islam. Was that an act of genocide or not?
What's the name of the evangelist?
Reinhard Bonnke.
Reinhard Bonnke came to hold a crusade, and they said, Christian crusade is not allowed. Not only did they destroy the equipment, they cut Christians. Is that genocide?
That happened during the Reinhard Bonnke crusade. Reinhard Bonnke wanted to hold a crusade in Kano State, an open-air crusade. And he was attacked. Not him, but the crusade ground was attacked. The equipment in the place was destroyed. And people who came out were killed. What do you call that? What do you call that if not genocide? Why were those people killed? Remember, why were they killed? Because you want to inflict harm on a particular religious group.
Genocide or not. Deborah Samuel, a girl in a polytechnic in Nigeria, in the north, she saw on the platform of her class that people were posting religious things. And she said, hey, This platform is for our study, not for religion. They went, they killed her, and when it became a court case, 52 barristers who hold the religious faith different from hers showed up to defend the guys who killed her. Is that genocide or not?
Did that happen or did it not happen? It happened. Imagine that. Even barristers, trained people, even politicians, we are defending it. The killing of Deborah, even politicians in this country, we are defending it. I saw somebody was asked during the U.S. congressional hearing, have the government been infiltrated by jihadis? Do you have any knowledge of that? And he said no. I was like, yes, somebody who is not serious about it. Halfway through the congressional hearing, I felt this is a waste of time. Like, I just said to myself, if Trump wants to do something, let him go ahead and do it. If he's waiting for these people in Congress, this is a waste of time. This is what happens. What happened? People were like, some Nigerians, which fair enough. They were like, imagine that this is a congressional hearing is being had about what is going on in Nigeria. Yet such congressional hearing or such hearing has not happened in Nigerian parliament. It has never happened in the House of Assembly in Nigeria. It has never happened in the House of Senate in Nigeria. Nothing like that has ever happened in Nigeria. Yet the first time it is for the first place where such inquiry is taking place, such hearing is being conducted, is far, far, far away United States. Fair enough. But I'm like, to what end? To what end? You have to be, if you really want to deal with this problem, you have to be willing to say what people are not. This is why Trump is somebody that people in Nigeria, some hate him because he's not on their side. But for those who is on their side, they love him because he's not politically correct. He's not doing all this politics thing you people are doing. He's not checking language. He's not here talking, okay, what's the right way to put it? Should I use is or should I use was? Should I use capital letter or should I use small letter? Should I say guns are blazing or guns are firing? How do I do it? Like, you just say it. Say that thing that nobody wants to say because you know it is true and you know it needs to be said. Until we have people like that, I don't think until people who want to deal with this problem are talking the way they need to speak. I just feel like every other thing is just a waste of time at the end of the day. It is all just like a complete waste of time.
Evangelist Eunice in Greater Abuja went out 5 a.m. to do what we used to do down south here. And when we were kids, I was born a Muslim. My name is Ahmed. My mother is Aishat. My brother is Mudashir. My sister is Khadijat. My dad is Salau. But we knew people who would wake up and be waking people to prayer. That was what Evangelist Eunice did, and they hacked her to death.
I mean, you're talking about Evangelist Eunice. That's true. That happened in Abuja. A woman who went out to do morning cry. That's what we call it in Nigeria, morning cry. She was killed. And they killed her because they didn't like what she was doing. Is that not genocide? But beyond that, what about what happened to the Deeper Life pastor's wife, who complained that Muslims we are doing abolition in front of her shop? And she said, please, if you guys want to do this abolition, why not do it somewhere else instead of coming in front of the shop and doing it and making this place messy with pouring water and doing abolition in front of somebody's store? That is all she said to them. And they said she was insulting their religion. And she was killed for blasphemy. Is that not genocide?
And then, if all that is not genocide, and if it is just religious intolerance, what happened when Melafia came out and said, I am from southern Kaduna, and 23,000 of our people died, and actually when we call people who should come and defend them, the military, the police, they don't show. It is after the people are gone that they show. And they say they have it on good record that some mysterious helicopters are coming to give these people equipment. Is that not a plan at genocide? If you say that...
That is reports we are hearing from this country. These people are being bankrolled by mysterious sources. Nigerian airspace. You have helicopters who come through the air into Nigerian airspace and land in Nigeria and deliver weapons to people and fly out safely. Does that not show that there is this, is it complicity or is it facilitation? What exactly is happening? Let me tell you something. There are bandits on TikTok who open TikTok not with a username. You know, when you open TikTok, you use you have a username and stuff. But these bandits are just senseless people. So when they open a TikTok, they open it with their phone numbers. So on the TikTok, you can see, when you see them, and when you're watching their video, you can see the phone number. So you know the phone number of the person who has the TikTok account. And Nigerians have called, like you see, so if you go online, you will see examples of that. Go on Twitter, you see it. Go on TikTok. Some people have made videos showing this. They will call the number. In fact, somebody called the number a video call, and the bandits will pick. And these bandits are still roaming free. Nigerian army don't know where they are. They will tell us that there is a search party trying to pinpoint their location. They don't know where they are. We do SIM card registration, we do NIN, we do BVN, we do OVN, all the registration we want to do in this country, in the name that once the Nigerian government gather all this information, they will be able to track people's phone number. They'll be able to do this one. They'll be able to pinpoint people's location. All of that, we do all of that. And yet, in fact, Starlink now is asking me for KYC. We do all of that so that the government will be able to fight insecurity. And yet you have a bandits. They're not even hiding their phone number. It is out there. You call them, they pick. They're not afraid. They come on people's Twitter, TikTok live. But there was a guy who did this Watch the Party Die, a cover of Kendrick Lamar's Watch the Party Die. And he was talking about the party that he wanted to die was the Nigerian people in the Nigerian government. So in the rap, it was just a rap. He was calling on people, he was talking about people in the Nigerian government that he wished he could kill. And was talking about how he would love to kill them. It was kind of like a rap. Now, of course, it sounded kind of troubling, but then it was just a rap. And DSS located the guy. He was from the south. So DSS located him. All of a sudden, BVN and tracking people was possible. They located him and brought him in for questioning. He just did a rap song. DSS located him, brought him in for questioning. But a bandit in the north, no, they don't know his location. They're looking for him. He's missing. Or he can't be found. It's hard to pinpoint his exact location. These things are hard. It's a complex situation. I remember that woman, that Igbo woman that went to Congress. My sister from the same tribe went to Congress. I was telling them the Nigerian government is, they are stepping up. They can hear now and they are serious. Even the ones that wrote the BBC article debunking inter-society, so-called, was it not Igbos? The kind of country we are living in. Now I'm talking things that only people who are Nigerians will understand. Sorry. Sometimes I have to, when it comes to talking about Nigerian issues, sometimes you just have to speak in the Nigerian language when you are doing it on live stream. Nigerians who are listening to me will understand what I'm saying. Jack said, thank you for the 16 months Nigerian membership. YouTube membership. He said, it's Satan's roll call, not a call to prayer. No, the call to prayer I was referring to is it call to prayer? Prayer call is what I call it. I don't know which one you are referring to, but there was one I said that Evangelist Eunice was doing. I don't know if that's the one you're referring to. But anyway, let's wrap up with this video.
It's not genocide. What shall we say of what's going on in particularly states in the north that are of Christian conviction? Bornu State, even today's Vanguard reports Gwande local government where people were hacked, and the plan is to chase them out and
occupy their land.
And when I say some people, let me be bold to say Fulani herdsmen and some of the guys carrying gun come to occupy because and I was a little kid. One of the songs on radio in the north will say, "Babanka Sanshe will come with you." That song says that the whole of Nigeria is the land belonging to Shehu Danfodiyo. And until that is achieved, they've reached Kwara. It may be Lagos.
I think so many people in this country will not wake up and the government will not take this thing serious. I feel that way until these guys get to Lagos. And by that time, it may be too late. By that time, it may be too late. Because once they get to Lagos, I mean, where else? You just have to, if you can't even move away through Lagos, you have to go through Cameroon. And that's the goal, to push you out completely out of the country. That is the goal of these people. Push you out completely. Take over your land.
So somebody somewhere does not want this kind of facing the reality. Is there a genocide? You will have to answer. I haven't answered any of your question yet. But let me just say, 270 girls were carried out of a school. They were all Christians.
The
people
girls
who carried them committed 5 crimes. 1, child molestation, because Nigeria's criminal law says that if you sleep with anyone under, is he 18? Which is the age of consent. It's a crime. They raped these girls. 2, if you carry a person against their will across border, it's trafficking.
Which they did.
I thought we have human trafficking laws.
Yes.
3, you force this.
The laws that Boko Haram have broken are countless. And yet, after they do all of that, you say they repent. Nah. Let me just let him finish. Some of these things, when you start talking, it just gets to you too much. You're like, God.
People to change religion. 4, you force them into marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That is the 4th criminal offense. 5, some of them were violently raped. And then 6, some of them were killed. The same people who committed this crime, you said you forgave them. Who forgave them?
Yeah.
Where
You said they have repented. They are repentant Boko Haram. They've repented. That's what you tell your people. These people have repented. They have given their life to Christ. Abi? They have confessed their sins. They have accepted Jesus Christ as Lord and Person. Is that what you mean by repented? Repented to who? Who did they repent to? How did they repent? Repent how?
Which court of law? Is it the government that said, okay, we suspend the criminal laws of Nigeria in the case of Boko Haram, who carried this girl, whatever of the Hydra heads carried the girls? Who did it? So, if you now say you forgave them, where are they? It is rumored that some of them are now repented and you brought them into the army. How can a man who killed and committed all this crime now qualify to be a defender of the nation? It is rumored that some of them are in the Air Force. How can a man like that defend the Federal Republic of Nigeria? How can we entrust him in the country where I live at the moment, in England? If you touch a child, you know rape and more. You touch a child in an indecent way, you will be in the register of child molesters. And the moment you change local government, from one local government to the other, you must go and report yourself as a child molester so you can be on the books of child molesters. Once the court have passed a case against you that you molested, anytime you move, you don't need the police to do it. You have to go and report yourself. There are jobs you cannot get. But in our own case, we said these guys are forgiven. One, who forgave? Two, where were they forgiven? Three, where did we see their repentance? Four, where is the fruit of their repentance? So we cannot say that there is no genocide. But if we say there's no genocide, answer my questions. Two, we cannot say there is no religious intolerance. If you say there is no religious intolerance, explain to.
All right, so that's the end of the clip, and yeah, that's what we find in Nigeria. That's the reality of what is happening in Nigeria. Sorry, I want to do something. That's the reality of what we find in Nigeria. This is Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, the great country of Nigeria, and this is what we find. Yep. So many things. You know what? How do I proceed? I would play the second. There's a second video from my channel, and I'll just play that so that we can see how we'll proceed. Because I mean, the truth is about everything that is happening in this country. It breaks my heart. I would be lying if I don't tell you that. Like, it breaks my heart. It really, 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 really does. It really, really is. It really, really, like, it's heartbreaking. What I would say to Trump now is, anyhow you want to do it, just please come and do it. If you want to come in guns a blazing, just come in guns a blazing already. Don't work with the Nigerian government. Do not work with them. Do not work with them. You should know them by now. These people have no truth in them. Don't waste your time. If you want to waste time, waste resources, and probably waste the life of US soldiers, then keep working with the Nigerian government, and you will see the glory of corruption. Corruption, the kind you're not familiar with. You know, some people think their government is corrupt. Don't worry, Nigerian government will show you corruption, the type you've never seen before. You think you know what corruption is? Don't worry, people will see corruption. That is my advice to them. And please, brethren, as many of us that are brethren, let's keep praying for the country. The truth is, it's heartbreaking, but let's keep praying for the country, because if God does not help us, if God does not come to our rescue, no one else will. Like the scripture says, unless the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain that build it. Unless the Lord guards a city, the people who stay awake to guard it are wasting their time. But God will keep us. God will keep us. He is not asleep. He is not asleep. He sees. He hears. Okay? And we should
Welcome to the news show.
And we should be comforted by that. Jehovah sees, Jehovah hears. All right, let's watch this video. This is one of the videos from my channel, from that other channel that I talked to you guys about. Let me bring it up again for those who did not see it. I mentioned that I have a new channel. I mentioned that I have a new channel. And I've been posting stuff on the channel. I have more stuff to post. I have like 2 videos there already, and many more to come. It's called Bliss of Jihad. I believe that John is already putting it in the live chat for everyone to see. So I believe that is happening already, because John is my able moderator. My unpaid moderator. Anyway, so yeah, here is the channel. Bliss of Jihad, has 2 videos. We watched this one, which is called "They Promised Doctors and Engineers They Sent This," and this one is 8 headlines confirm Islam is peace. Now this one was used. I was experimenting. I tried to use AI voicing for this, so the voice you are hearing is not mine; it's AI voicing. But I wrote the script and everything, and I'm the one who edited it. But I was like, oh, let me know. It was the first video I did for the channel, and I was wondering, meddling with the idea of what if AI voiced it. So I did the voicing, and it sounded nice, so I decided to use it. Then I tried to do it again, and then it did sound nice, and I was like, nah, you know what, we are done with this AI stuff. My voice is the best, okay? There is no voice better than this one. So bear with the AI voice. And please follow, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed to the channel. We have 9 subscribers, okay? That is a very low number. We need to get to like 1,000 as quickly as possible. Anyway, so here is the video, okay? And you can get more of that from the channel. I'll be posting more. I'm giving you this heads up. Subsequently in live streams, I may probably not mention it. Honestly, I will probably not mention it again. So this is privileged opportunity, privileged information for those who joined us live today, who the real OG fans that don't miss a live stream. This is an update for you guys. Anyway, so here is the first video that I posted. And let's go.
Welcome to the news show that proves without any shadow of a doubt that Islam is the religion of peace. Today, we're wading through the latest headlines where the only thing bigger than the peace on display is the sheer hurtful Islamophobia. Our first story comes from Bordeaux, France, where 3 teenagers decided to make a viral moment by repeatedly shouting Allahu Akbar inside the beautiful St. Andre Cathedral. Naturally, this caused an immediate panic among the worshippers. The authorities quickly swooped in, treating the incident as a grave case of condoning terrorism, a charge punishable by up to 5 years in the slammer. A truly serious, terrifying situation. But don't worry, folks. The police investigated, and what did they find? They ruled out any actual terrorist angle. Their official classification of the incident was completely stupid behavior. You see, this is the brilliance of modern policing. All a Muslim has to do now is tell the French authorities, relax, bro, it was just a prank, and they immediately file it under youthful shenanigans. The system works. I guess all those complicated anti-terror laws just boiled down to the no fun allowed statute. So next time you want to avoid a felony, just make sure you clarify you're a prankster, not a plotter. The French justice system will probably let you off with a TikTok ban and a stern look. Next, we zip over to Germany for a story that is truly a testament to the glorious, beautiful project of multiculturalism championed by, well, let's just say former leaders. The trial has begun for a 25-year-old Afghan man, Syed Akbar S., who is accused of fatally stabbing his store manager, Magda M., at a New Yorker clothing store. Allegedly, 26 stab wounds, the beautiful, peaceful legacy of Angela Merkel, for which Germany remains eternally, deeply, joyously grateful. The best part? His asylum application had been rejected, but he was allowed to stay in the country anyway. The cherry on top? The prosecution is now floating the idea that he might be suffering from paranoid schizophrenia and could be deemed not criminally responsible. Ah, yes. Paranoid schizophrenia, the classic legal loophole that only seems to apply after 26 stab wounds. It's like a get-out-of-jail-free card, only it comes with a mandatory stay at a 5-star, fully funded psychiatric facility. Germany's new immigration policy. We can't deport him, but don't worry, we'll put him in a fancy padded room. It's a win-win for everyone, except the store manager. Now, for a story that should put to rest all those ugly, divisive debates on the benefits Islam brings to the West. Zimnako Salah, a Phoenix resident, was just sentenced to 6 years in federal prison for plotting to bomb churches across the U.S. The Department of Justice wants you to know that this sentence holds accountable those who target individuals based on their faith. This, my friends, proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Islam is peace, as George W. Bush so eloquently declared right after 9/11. Because nothing screams peace than a man consuming extremist ISIS murder videos, building a functional IED that could fit in a backpack, and declaring on his cell phone, America, we are going to destroy it. Clearly, he just meant he was going to destroy it peacefully. He only got 6 years, though. I guess the judge figured he already suffered enough by having to spend his plot time in Phoenix. That's a life sentence right there. Our next story shows how wonderfully pious Muslims are spreading peace and love across the global south. Indian authorities busted a major white-collar terror module linked to militant groups, and among the arrested are several medical professionals. Key figures include Dr. Muzamil Ganaye and Dr. Adil Ahmed Rather. These were highly educated professionals tasked with executing large-scale terror plots. They found nearly 2,900 kilograms of IED-making material, 2 AK series assault rifles, pistols, timers, and other bomb-making equipment. I guess these doctors were really committed to their oath to first do no harm to their fellow terrorists, that is. I'm guessing large-scale terror plots isn't covered in the typical medical school curriculum. I wonder if they got extra credit for having 2,900 kilograms of suspected ammonium nitrate. That's definitely more than what's needed for an organic chemistry final. Dr. Ganaya and Dr. Rather were apparently trying to combine their two passions, medicine and mass casualty events. They're pioneering a new field, explosive surgery. Back to the good old US of A, where federal authorities thwarted an alleged ISIS-inspired terror plot in Michigan. 3 Dearborn men were arrested: Mohammed Ali, Majed Mahmoud, and Ayub Nasir. I have to pause on that first name, Mohammed Ali. It is only fitting for a Mohammed or an Ali to behave like the historically peace-loving Mohammed and Ali, isn't it? Imagine the enormous peace from one person bearing both names. That's the kind of peace that completely validates George Bush's definition of Islam. The men acquired high-powered weapons, practiced at gun ranges, and used the code word pumpkins for their attack plans around Halloween. They even scouted LGBTQ+ bars in Ferndale as potential targets. Scouting gay bars and using the code word pumpkins, they weren't planning a terror attack. They were clearly planning a very inclusive tactical Halloween party. They were just misunderstood interior decorators. Next, we fly back to India, where in a beautiful continuation of the legendary tolerance that devout Muslims are famous for, the Gujarat Anti-Terrorism Squad in India just busted an alleged bioterror plot. The main accused? Dr. Ahmed Mohyuddin Syed, an MBBS graduate from China. This doctor was arrested with weapons and materials intended to produce ricin, a highly lethal biological toxin easily derived from castor beans. This is just a doctor trying to make a difference. He's trying to streamline the whole tolerance thing, you see? Why waste time with knives and bombs when you can just spread peace by poisoning a big innocent crowd? An MBBS from China trying to make ricin from castor beans using household tools. I'm not a doctor, but that sounds like the most complicated, least efficient way to commit mass murder. He needs a refund on that Chinese medical degree. The police found 4 kilograms of castor bean mash. I bet his mom was the most disappointed. All that money for medical school and you're making mash in your apartment? Why can't you just make a nice casserole like a normal terrorist? Our next story proves that the Islamic State Central Africa Province, or ISHCAP, is much more committed to globalizing the Intifada than the cowardly sloganeering protesters we see in the West. ISHCAP released a video, Jihad and Dawah, demanding that African Christians convert to Islam or accept dhimmi status, which means subjugation and paying the Islamic tax known as jizya. They're not just screaming slogans at traffic, they're setting up a full-fledged, historically and Quranically accurate religious tax system. That's commitment to the cause. They're demanding the jizya tax. Think of it as an exclusive mandatory subscription service for non-Muslims, only instead of watching Netflix, you get to keep your head. Premium package. They justify their attacks by equating modern Western aid organizations with the Crusades. So giving people food and medicine is the same as a medieval holy war. I guess if you're going to justify mass murder, you might as well use the most completely insane logic possible. And finally, we head to Nigeria, the country that President Donald Trump famously called now disgraced. These final attacks prove he was wrong and bigoted to say that. Nigeria is just too bustling with economic activity. We have 6 senior directors of the Federal Ministry of Defense abducted while traveling for a promotion exam. The kidnappers are now demanding 150 million naira for their release. Plus, another attack in Zamfara State where bandits abducted at least 16 people, and the same terrorists, aka bandits, are imposing a system of illegal taxation on entire communities with levies amounting to over 172 million naira. The abduction of 6 directors of the Ministry of Defense is just Nigeria's commitment to job creation. They're decentralizing the promotion exam process by turning the Kaba-Lokoja Highway into a high-stakes, real-world escape room challenge. Bandits imposing illegal taxes proves Nigeria is not disgraced. They're simply entrepreneurial. They've established a highly successful non-state sanctioned tax and kidnapping conglomerate. That's economic growth, baby. And about the Christian genocide problem? No. ISWASP only killed 4 Christians in one attack and burned down 2 churches in another. And the abduction of 7 women and children, including a pastor's daughter in Chibok, that's just a local weekly security challenge. Nothing genocidally about it. Trump was clearly misinformed. Well, that's all the funny news we have time for, enough to show you that Islam is truly the religion of peace. Jihad is an internal struggle for excellence, and to think otherwise is the height of mental illness.
All right. So, last video I wanted to show you guys. And that is all we have for you today. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with Low Energy Frank Steven for 2 hours and chatting with me and sending me super chats and hearing me just talk. It was fun hanging with you guys. I really appreciate you all. And until we see you next time, have a very fantastic, wonderful evening, or morning, or afternoon, or day as a whole. And stay blessed. God is on your side. Don't lose hope. And yeah, don't worry. The next live stream I'm going to do is because I've been gone away for a very long time, and I don't want to shout this evening because I don't want to shout too much. So that's why I'm coming, with this very low, what do they call those content? ASMR voice. Yeah, that's why I'm coming with it. But don't worry. Afterwards, we'll come with the one that will keep everybody awake, even the neighbors. Okay? All right, guys. It was fun. And remember, Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. Okay? Everything in this life is temporal. I mean, you can see it now. See what terrorists are doing. It's temporal. Everything in this life will pass away. The word and everything in it is passing away. And only the word of the Lord, only God, and all that he has promised, that only his kingdom is eternal. So be in what is eternal, in what is everlasting. Okay? And be a partaker of it. And you can be a partaker of it by giving your life to Jesus. That is the only true hope that matters. That is all that matters at the end of the day. It's not any of this thing. The world is passing away and everything in it is passing away. But there's something that is eternal. Belong to it. Give your life to it. Okay? Save yourself from this perishing world by belonging and being translated into one that is eternal. That is my final message for you in this live stream. And I hope you take it seriously and you take a moment to contemplate and think about Christ and his love for you and his grace towards you and how he wants to set you free. It was fun hanging with you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. And until we meet again, peace and love.